Hello. I've been thinking recently about what it means to be part of the people of God in Scotland in 2025. We hear that over the last decades, opposition to Christ, his teachings, and his church have grown and the church has declined. There is some truth in that, but I don't think that we should feel helpless in these circumstances. As we're often reminded, in the letter to the Hebrews, we are told not to give up the habit of meeting together. But the reason for this is not to swell numbers on a Sunday. Rather, the writer says, it's to encourage each other. And the writer suggests that this is particularly important in the difficult times that the readers of the letter were facing. And so that brings me to the passage I'd like to share with you. It's Psalm 124 and forms part of a small collection of marching songs. The first couple of psalms take the perspective of an individual, but Psalm 124 is about the collected people of God. It starts, "If God had not been on our side." This wasn't about the people showing prowess, having skills to deal with their situation, or being particularly deserving. Rather, the Lord takes their side. The maker of heaven and earth is the one who is changing the balance of power. But what was the problem that the people were facing together? The psalm says that they would have faced sudden catastrophic calamities. They would have been swallowed whole or swept away as in a tsunami. There would have been little or nothing that they could have done to resist this. And they would also have been gradually destroyed and caught hopelessly, as if being eaten by a wild animal or caught in a trap by a hunter. But not only have they been freed, but the hunter's snare has been destroyed. It won't be able to be used against them again. And it's God who's done these things. It's his name that's to be heralded as being the effective force behind the rescue. As Paul says in Romans, when talking to a small, persecuted church, if God is for us, who can be against us? It's a rhetorical question, really, isn't it? What do they think they're going to achieve? Don't they realise who they're up against? But both Paul and David the psalmist were writing not to individuals, but to God's collected people. Of course, God is interested in each one of us. Of course, he's individually redeemed us and made us part of this new people. But much of our hope comes not from being individuals, but by acting as part of a family, encouraging one another together, coming together and growing, learning, blessing and praising God together. God's plan is for a people as much as for individuals, and it's important to remember that and be part of that. And so, as we look at the society around us, as we reflect on the church and where it stands in that society, as we consider our individual place as part of that church, it's good to be reminded, like the Israelites and like the early Roman believers, that although we would ordinarily be overwhelmed, with God on our side, God who's the maker of heaven and earth, the power balance has been completely changed. He has not allowed and will continue to not allow his people to be destroyed. Paul suggests the change is so dramatic, we don't just escape by the skin of our teeth, rather we're becoming more than conquerors. So let's just read that psalm before we close. If the Lord had not been on our side, let Israel say, if the Lord had not been on our side when people attacked us, they would have swallowed us alive when their anger flared against us. The flood would have engulfed us. The torrent would have swept over us. The raging waters would have swept us away. Praise be to the Lord, who has not let us be torn by their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the fowler's snare. The snare has been broken, and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Good night.